Good to know. Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30 The Tiger. He's Rogers. I'm Patrick. Pleased to have you with us, and very pleased to be joined by one of our favorite Saints insiders from The Athletic in New Orleans. She is Katherine Carroll, a New Orleans lady, at least at this point in time. Kat, how are you?
At this point in time?
Well, yeah, I mean, you did leave for a little bit, so...
I did leave, but I came back.
Oh, yeah, you did. You did come back. So
we always come back.
Well, the call, as Bear Bryant once famously said, it's always hard to ignore the call of home.
That is very true.
Yeah, when Mama calls you home.
I agree with that.
Hey, well, what's the latest with Drew Brees? Where are we at? What are they doing roster wise? What are we expecting to see this weekend, if anything, from Drew?
Well, I mean, they're gonna play it close to the vest, and media doesn't even get to go to practice anymore, so we're not even going to get a hint of who's taking these snaps until, I don't know, something gets leaked to someone on probably Friday. I mean, I lean towards Taysom still starting, but it's hard to say. We haven't talked to Drew in so long, we don't really know where he's at. I think if it's up to him, he's starting, but it can really go either way, honestly.
Is this one of those things where... the doctors at this point are just like, look, he's fine in terms of the ribs have healed, the lung is, reinflated, everything is okay. He can take a hit, or do you think the doctors have to step in and go, no, not yet. We're gonna put the kibosh on this for now.
Yeah, it would have to be a situation where he has to not run the risk of re-injury, or at least to some extent, because I don't think you can have that injury and not run the risk of re-injury when you're going back out there 3 or 4 weeks later. I just don't even think that's possible.
Yeah.
So it's probably like a percentage, what percentage is he willing to risk? And I don't know, it probably has to do more with the lungs than the ribs. Because he played through a lot of these fractures, which kind of blows my mind.
Yeah.
But, I don't think it'll really ever be completely safe this season. So, it's crazy. I'd love to sit down with Drew for like 30 minutes and just talk about this, but he usually isn't going to go into too much detail about if he's in pain or if this is actually really a big risk that he could break more ribs.
Well, I've got to feel like anytime you're sitting there and there are multiple 300-pound human beings coming with ill intent at you, then you're always at risk of breaking ribs, right? I mean, anytime you step on the field as a quarterback, you're at risk of breaking something. So I guess it's just a matter of what's a manageable risk.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It actually kind of makes me wonder if more quarterbacks than we know have fractured ribs and they don't know about it, or we just never hear about it, because they are always kind of in pain from various injuries and they don't realize that's what it is. I mean, it kind of, like I said, it blows my mind that he could have this many rib fractures and play through it and not know that he had that many until he, had the MRIs and all of that. But yeah, I mean, when you're about to turn 42 and you've got a 300-pound man, running into you at however fast they run.
Yeah, fast.
I mean, that's going to hurt. I don't think a flak jacket can really protect you that much there.
No, I don't think so either. Talking to Katherine Terrell from The Athletic. All right, why... You lived for a bit in Cincinnati and you covered the Bengals. Why is Skyline Chili edible? Like, how do you have an opinion that's not that this stuff is absolute garbage and needs to be disposed of immediately?
Well, the entire city of Cincinnati would agree with me that it actually is very good, and it's no worse than, like, if you're, like, drank a lot the night before and you're hungover and you go get Skyline, how is that worse than going to, like, Taco Bell? Taco Bell is not good. That's my unpopular opinion that I'm going to send back to you.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree that Taco Bell's not good. Like,
terrible.
I'm not going to sit here and try to look. I have a guilt. Like, I eat the McRib. Okay,
I've never had that.
Look, literally a certified barbecue judge. I am a very discerning barbecue eater, and yet for some reason I like the McRib. So I understand that people like things that don't make sense sometimes, because I don't think Skyline Chili makes sense. It's like, number one, you put it over noodles, which is so weird, and then you double that with, it's just not very good. It's just, to me,
have you had it?
Yes. I went in going, I cannot wait to have Skyline Chili. I've heard so much about this. I am super excited for it. I had the same reaction to In-N-Out. I went, I'm like, I can't wait for it. And I was completely and totally dismayed by what I found.
Well, I think the difference there is that everyone on the West Coast acts like In-N-Out is the greatest thing ever. All people in the Midwest say is that they like Skyline Chili. They don't say it's the greatest thing ever. They just say they like it. I mean, you can't convince me that In-N-Out is better than Whataburger.
No.
It's not better than Five Guys. It's okay. It's fine.
No, it's fine.
But, if I'm going to sit there for 20 minutes in a drive-thru waiting for something, it better be like the best fast food burger I've ever had, and it's not.
Yeah, it is absolutely not.
Fine.
No, it's fine. But it's definitely not. It's not what it's hyped up to be. And I went into Skyline thinking, oh, this is going to be magical. But then again, I just heard that apparently people in Wisconsin eat raw meat burgers, and that's some sort of tradition that they have. And then they're being warned by the government, hey, stop eating raw meat burgers. Well,
I do eat my burgers medium rare, so a lot of people find that disgusting.
Yeah, but I mean, at least that's cooked somewhat. I mean, literally, they put raw meat on bread with onions on it and eat it. And that's some sort of Wisconsin tradition of some kind. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, we eat things that we've basically pulled out of a swamp. So,
but they're not crawling around on the plate.
Well, this is true.
Yeah, I don't mind a medium rare steak. I don't mind a medium rare burger. I don't mind if the burger's a little red. That's fine. But you're literally eating raw meat. I don't know. This bothers me. I'm sorry.
It bothers you.
It bothers me. People are literally putting ground beef on a bun and eating it it's being fed to a dog. I don't know.
You have a lot of food opinions. Well, I mean, I do too.
Well, yeah, that's why this show, Catherine, this is why this show's not like anyone else's out there, because I'm not going to sit down. I could just keep asking you about Andrus Peat and the backup guards for the Saints, or we could talk about Skyline Chili and why people are wrong that it's good.
I mean, at least you've had it, so you know what? Fine, you've had it. You don't like it. That's fine. What I don't like is when people see it and they're like, "Oh, that's disgusting," and then I'm like, "Okay, well, have you had it?" And then they say no, and I'm like, "Well, okay, then why are we talking about this? You just think it looks disgusting, which is fair. It does not look appetizing,
right?
But it does taste. I like it.
Okay, that's fine.
But it's fine. You've had it though, so I appreciate that you at least tried it, and you didn't like it.
Yeah, and I wanted to like it. That's the part that made me sad, is I went in wanting to enjoy it and wanting to be happy about it. And I was like, this is awful. Talking to Katherine Terrell from The Athletic. All right, about the Saints. We kind of saw some flaws, and we know the Saints are always good for one of those stinkers of a game every year. It typically seems to always be the Browns when it happens for some reason, but the Saints are always due for one of those games. They had it last week. In his heart of hearts, do you think Sean Payton was secretly a little bit happy that he gets to sort of jerk their chains a little bit and kind of get them back into the right frame of mind and focused back on what's important? Because we know how much he likes to talk about not eating the cheese.
Yeah, I did have that thought. I guess it comes into managing personalities, and Peyton is really good about that. But, sometimes you get teams that, like you said, eat the cheese or read their own press clippings or whatever. But if they keep winning, he has no way to kind of rein that in.
Yeah.
Which is fine until it happens at the worst moment or opportunity. I mean, if you're going to lose a game, now I guess is the time you want to lose it. You still have a few more weeks to figure this out and head to the playoffs. But, I said that, and some people on Twitter were saying, how could you say that when it hasn't really helped them before, and they probably have lost the number one seed, which is fair. I get that. I mean, actually, this game had pretty big implications.
Yeah.
Which just shows you how every season is so different, because this team could finish 13-3 and not have a first round bye. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I also believe that this team can bounce right back and beat the Chiefs. I really do. I actually thought this Eagles game was going to be a problem for them. Presented every opportunity for it to be a problem game. Third game in a row on the road, which is really hard. That's why NFL doesn't like to do that to teams. But I guess the Saints got to be the lucky one.
They don't mind doing that to the Saints.
Yeah, right. And it's an outdoor field. They don't play on that type of surface that much. Sometimes they play poorly on it. They usually get away with it. Like at Titans last year, they didn't play well against the Titans. They just kind of got away with it, even though first half they looked terrible.
Right. And lucky enough, Derrick Henry wasn't available.
Right, and so for some reason, the Saints always have these types of games against rookie quarterbacks. I don't know why, but I was like, okay, new rookie quarterback, a guy can run, they're going to have a problem.
Well, and the other issue is when you face a Jalen Hurts, he has the opportunity to be more dangerous than Carson Wentz can, because you know what you're getting with Wentz, and occasionally he'll move, but with the injuries, he's become so much less mobile than he was. Now you can kind of plan for the RPO stuff, and you can plan for some of the read option, but you don't have to really worry about Wentz that much. Meanwhile, you turn around and now with Hurts, basically Doug Peterson had everything in his playbook at his disposal, because he can run the quarterback as much as he wants.
Yeah, I mean, it just presents. Sorry, I'm multitasking here, but yeah, I mean, he just presents all sorts of problems, and also there's really not that much film on him. I mean, there is, but not really, and so sometimes that just trips teams up. But it will be totally interesting to see if it just changes the outlook of the Eagles going forward, because actually they can still make the playoffs, because that division is so horrible, which it always seems to be horrible. I don't know why that is. Remember, the Cowboys used to be a good team. Right.
Well, that was also, you were what were you, 7 at the time? I mean, that's the last time the Cowboys were a good team. So.
Well, they made the playoffs a couple of times, and then, Tony Romo blew it. I don't remember. I don't remember what year that was.
Fumbled the extra point against the Seahawks.
Yeah, that probably was a lot longer ago than I remember.
It probably was. Talking to Katherine Terrell of The Athletic. All right, so the defense finally gave up a 100-yard rusher. I believe didn't end up giving 2. I think Hurts ended up with 100 yards as well. So, you give up 200-yard rushers. If you're going to do it in style. Break that record in style. Now against a guy like Mahomes, who is not a designed runner, but is very good on the move. How much do you think the Saints worry now with, especially defensively, with a guy like Mahomes who is so adept at keeping plays alive, and then when he does, he makes you pay for it. If you do not get to him initially, he is not going to run for 4 yards. He's going to throw it for 40.
I mean, is there anything the guy can't do?
I tell you this, speaking of food, he doesn't have good steak eating habits. How about that?
He does love ketchup, too.
He puts ketchup on his steaks.
He loves ketchup. That's his thing.
I know, which is fine. I like ketchup as much as the next guy, but you put it on your steaks and you've lost me.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but to each his own, I guess, as long as I don't have to look at it. People would probably say that about my burgers.
Look, again, it's fine. If you want a medium rare burger, I'm okay with that. Just don't eat raw meat, people. That's all I'm saying. Just don't put raw ground beef on a bun with some onions on it and call it a sandwich. It's disgusting.
Well, anyway, back to Mahomes.
Yes.
I just think the secondary is going to have to be at the top of this game. I mean, the thing is, Lattimore has just been so hit or miss,
Mm-hmm.
and he usually does. He seems to play down to his level of competition, which is weird to say, since, the Eagles beat them, but it just seems like that's what he does. I mean, there was a play against the Eagles where, yeah, you can argue that it was a push-off, but Lattimore still had position to make the play and just kind of stood there and didn't, make that attempt. And I was just thinking, well, I still think push-off or not, he could have tried to make that play. I mean, so it's kind of like, what Lattimore are you going to get that week? And that combined with the injuries.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, they're just, yeah.
That was kind of my next question: is what is the health of the secondary? We've seen those guys going down like flies.
I think I just typed up the injury report not 10 minutes ago, and I'm already trying to remember what it said. But I think relatively healthy. I mean, now you don't have Patrick Robinson, which, depending on who you ask, I guess is good or bad. But I think that he actually stepped up whenever he was asked to play for one of the injured starters. I think he's played, pretty well in small doses. But, man, the injury report, secondary, it actually isn't really represented on the injury report, but it's pretty lengthy. And, Michael Thomas is, back to not practicing because of his ankle, and Nick Houston has a concussion, and, Ramczyk is hurt, and Pete is hurt, and not what you want to see going into your toughest game of the season.
What is your prediction on when we see Brees again?
I think that's the latest next week against the Vikings.
Yeah.
That'll probably be it.
I think that's kind of what we all think.
Like I said, it can go either way. I mean, the guy has shocked me before, and if he plays against the Chiefs, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it would just be, if it's up to Brees, he plays this week. If it's up to the doctors, he plays next week, although I don't know how big of a difference I don't know how big of a difference a week makes when you're thinking about this, but probably next week.
All right.
Don't quote me on that.
Well, look, I mean, it's all a guessing game for all of us at this point. Final thing, forget the medium rare burger. What's the one thing that you eat, or one food habit you have that your friends dislike the most?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Thank you.
I feel like my friends agree with, I like candy corn. People think that's disgusting.
Oh, candy corn. Buttery wax.
Yes, people think that's gross. Even my own brother thinks that's disgusting.
I mean, it's not the best. What do you think? Yeah. Do you think candy corn? Do you think each individual piece, little part of the candy corn, tastes different?
I used to eat it in 3 different pieces.
Right.
Now I just think it mostly tastes the same, but I like the taste, so maybe I like candle wax.
I feel like it's buttery wax is what I think. I think that's what it is.
I mean, you know what? I've been eating it since I was a kid. I guess my taste buds haven't changed since I was 5. I still find candy corn and those little candy pumpkins to be pretty good.
Okay.
I'm very alone in
where
that.
Where are you on
the
Peeps?
The whole world hates candy corn.
Where are you on Peeps?
I think you said Pete. I'm I know we weren't getting into the...
No, not Andrus Pete. I don't care. Peeps.
They're okay. I don't think I've had one in a decade. We used to put them in the microwave and blow them up. That was way more fun than eating them.
Now that to me sounds like a way more interesting thing to do with a Peep than actually eat it. It's basically styrofoam. So
yeah, they're really not very good.
No.
I guess I would, if someone gave me one, I would eat it, but I would never go to a store and buy Peeps. But I would go buy candy corn.
I like the idea that if someone gave it to you, you'd eat it. You're beholden to someone handing you something. Here's a stalk of broccoli. Oh, I'll eat that. Yeah, because you handed it to me. I like that.
Well, I don't eat vegetables, so I don't know that I would do that. But
well, you just went up tenfold in our book here at the Patrick Netherton Show, because neither my producer Rogers nor I eat vegetables. So well done.
There you go. I am just here to provide nutritional information and advice to anyone that wants to listen.
There you go.
Occasionally talk about football.
Eat more candy corn, more Skyline Chili, fewer vegetables, and you will live a long life. Katherine, you're the best. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to catching up with you soon.
All right, anytime.
All right. Katherine Terrell from The Athletic in New Orleans.